out, Scott. I'm in. Welcome, everyone, to the
boy.
Everything Show. How are you, Scott?
Doing good.
I am your host, Matrix Lloyd 212. I'm with Scott, and I am going to talk again about Deadpool 2 because I just got it on demand.
Good, which was quite good.
So, is the thing with X-Force going to be because now he's just having so much fun traveling through time that he could be like a villain now? Because he basically saved the wife or the girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
But somehow he saved the girlfriend without altering the timeline with that whole thing with Cable, which that's weird. And he saved the life of the guy without altering the timeline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to, I guess, other timelines and altered the timeline, which is weird. Like,
Yeah.
just think about this for a second, and I know it's supposed to be a joke, but if he went to that universe where Wolverine fought the mouthless Deadpool and he killed that Deadpool,
Yeah.
that means that Wolverine would not lose his memories and he would not join the X-Men.
That's right.
And that would be the Marvel Universe X-Men thing because the timeline would be different.
That's
And
right.
technically Wolverine wouldn't die either because it wouldn't lead to the timeline of Days of Future Past and it wouldn't even lead to the Logan timeline.
Yeah.
So technically he changed some things.
But yet again, the Deadpool is supposed to be somewhat of a comedy at the same time, so they can
Right.
make things.
Right. Which also it was funny how he killed Ryan Reynolds before he was in Green Lantern.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
I gotta tell you, they could technically do stuff with the MCU where Doctor Strange just grabs Deadpool. He's like, stop changing time.
Yep.
Because you're gonna cause problems. Because technically, you could say that it's in the same universe because he mentions Hawkeye.
Yes.
He mentions Winter Soldier. He names drops like different things.
Yes.
With the Marvel Universe.
Both the Charles Xaviers. He basically did.
And they wanted, and the girlfriend wanted to name the kid May, like Aunt May type of thing, which is interesting. I mean, I just see that it would be hysterical that the Avengers would go after Deadpool because he's changing time.
Yes.
Maybe that could be a whole lead-in. Avengers versus Deadpool.
I'm still surprised they haven't done anything to where Ryan Reynolds hands on the fact that Beast. Wait a minute, is Beast going to now be with X-Men or Avengers? I'm still waiting for that little joke.
But that was actually Kelsey Grammer, right?
Yeah.
Or was that somebody else? That was Kelsey.
Kelsey Grammer in the
cameo.
Yeah.
He cameoed in there, right? Yeah. Or no? Yeah.
I'm still waiting for him to do a cameo, a little name drop, you know.
And that wasn't really you. That was Hugh Jackman from the footage, not Hugh Jackman filming the thing, though. But yeah. But now I heard that he wants to get Hugh Jackman as Hugh Jackman in
that
X-Force.
would be awesome. That
would be awesome. Grabbing the actor Hugh Jackman. Yeah.
I would pay good money to see that.
I like Josh Brolin as Cable. I thought he was great.
He was great as Cable, I have to say.
The thing is, though, he didn't like his performance as Cable. I liked him. I thought he was great. He was really awesome.
They did. I gotta find the Wizard or Wizardry magazine back from the '90s. I do remember they had Famke Janssen as Jean Grey.
Right.
I forget who they had for Cyclops. They had Iman for Storm.
Oh wow!
And I forget who they had for Cable. I want to say Dolph Lundgren,
Jesus.
but I gotta go back and check.
Jesus. But I really enjoyed Deadpool 2 tonight. Yeah. I really did. And thank God it was a better movie than The Puppet Man. Oh my God.
Think about it this way. You got to see the Puppet Master showed you how a movie should not be made.
It's hard because that movie. Listen. That movie. It's the first time I'm really kind of split because they had the budget.
Yeah.
It wasn't a B movie though.
It tells me it was the people who made it.
It wasn't the people. It wasn't the people who did the original Puppet Master, but it was Fangoria. But they spent money on the kills, and it was good.
They didn't research their material.
But the kills were good, but the puppets were not. Like some of the puppets were really cool, like the insect puppet and the amphibian, but they didn't really. I didn't like the way Blade looked.
Basically, they put out a movie just to put out a movie.
See, this is the way Blade will always be to me. I love Blade. Okay,
that's cool. Yeah,
I like the way he looked in the movies. He doesn't look like this, and then they made them look too similar. This is awesome. This is the Blade I know. You know what I'm saying? And then they never did Jester, which I love Jester. And he's supposed to switch the head and you know what I'm saying? I love Jester, and they didn't even do Six Shooter in it. So I don't know. I mean, there was a few puppets we didn't have. Leech Woman they didn't have.
From what you said, it sounds like they just put out a movie to put out a movie. They didn't do their research. They wanted to appease the fans so much.
But how is that appeasing fans if you're doing not? How could you be a fan of the puppets if they're Nazis? You can't. So that's not appeasing the fans. That's just trying to make a buck.
In other words, they were appeasing the fans by putting a puppet master out, but yet at the same time, they dropped the ball by...
I would love to get Charles Band's opinion on that because they kind of don't like the Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys, right? Like, he just hates it, because they hate that they gave the rights, right? But what's wrong with that compared to making the puppets not? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it as that bad compared to making the puppets Nazis. I don't like that. And then too long, they turned into a creep. Which I understand he was a creep originally in the second one, whatever. But the third one, they kind of changed the canon, So I don't know. I'm rambling. I know I went from horror to regular everything show stuff, but I kind of want the Puppet Master. So I don't like that the last Puppet Master I've seen, they kind of ruined it. So I kind of would love for them to do another one.
Yeah. And have the original puppets take on the ones that they
they did those sequels, and I kind of shoke my head after a while when I saw the last three. But I kind of want them in present effing times. I have enough of them in, and now I know this was in present times, but I kind of want a sequel to actually the Puppet Master movies, but in present time, connected to the original trilogy, the original set, not trilogy, because there was a lot of Puppet Master movies. People are like, why are you talking about Puppet? Because I love Puppet Master. It's my favorite B movie stuff. So that's that. Now, the next movie I was talking in the other Everything show, I'm going to watch probably Rampage.
Which was good.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you know what? You're going to spend $6 or $12. Well, actually, it's way more than $6 in the movie theater, but in the comfort of your own home now, you spend $6. I'll spend $6 all the time, and I want to get caught up with all these movies. And now I have the opportunity to. I don't care what the bill's going to be next month, but
I watched a movie I watched last year or a few months ago. It was supposed to be an X-Men-ish. I'll just say this: an X-Men-ish style movie.
But that was that Russian thing with the bear and stupid shit that I didn't like when I saw the trailer. Yeah,
it was good. Even though I rewatched it, the dubbing is god awful.
Right.
The dubbing was god awful. But I have to say the action scenes were quite decent.
Yeah. So I did box office already in the last cast.
The only thing I didn't like about it is they initially had a guy who had what only could be described as telekinetics. In other words, being able to pick up stones and all that and throw them. Well, after the main bad guy pulls a whole Batman Bane move, turned it around to where he also had this electric whip, which to me they should have just kept the telekinetics, which to me looked a hell of a lot better.
Right.
But anyway, box office.
No, I did the box office already. In the last, because we're hearing, news has come in before, and I'm kind of rehashing it. I heard that the James Gunn, maybe Sony changed their mind, or something.
Well, from my understanding, what happened at Disney, because the one main guy said, enough said, he cannot go back upon it. And if it's truly that they cut all ties, I agree with John Campia. If they actually honestly cut all ties with the Gunn, then they need to either destroy his script or turn his script.
That's what I've been saying. How long now?
Yeah.
Get rid of the script.
Yeah.
He should get paid, and if you're not going to pay him, let him go. Let him go. Do whatever.
Don't say 1 minute we're cutting all ties, and then go. We're going to hold on to this.
Regardless of them, they're all egos, and they're looking bad each day, Disney. Still to this day. But you know what? You're not going to bring him back. Stop talking about it. Let him do his thing.
There's no way. So
let him do his thing.
Yeah, they're saying that they're waiting for all this stuff to get wrapped up, and then that way Gunn can be free to pursue other interests and other studios, Warner Brothers, and with a lot of TV. So
I'm happy Brendan Fraser is getting work again, because that's kind of messed up. He wasn't getting any roles. Now he's going to be in the DC universe on DC's Titan spin-off Doom Patrol. So he's going to be playing. He's going to voice the superhero known as Cliff Steele. So that's interesting. Robot Man, he's going to be.
Yep, Robot Man. I was about to say, when you said Cliff Steele, I automatically knew. Robo Man. Yep.
So,
because that's
good for him, man.
I know his name was originally Beast Boy, but I know him mainly by Changeling because of the new Teen Titans comic book, which I used to collect in the 80s. But yeah, that's who Beast Boy used to be with, Doom Patrol.
I'm glad that American Horror Story are bringing back all the dead witches somehow. They're going to wrap that up. They saved them all, I guess, which is good. So that's awesome. And they showed a picture of them all back, the Coven. So I just want to show them. There they are. Oh, wait, that's not it. Hello. Oh.
That looks like a screen of your computer.
Yeah, what the frick? Hold on. There we go. There we are. So.
Oh, there's Stevie Nicks.
Yep, there's a Coven. That's cool. Very good. So, what else do we have to talk about? I know there's plenty of other things. Oh, Richard E. Grant denies that he's in Star Wars playing a bad guy.
Okay. I heard hintings about that too. So
yeah.
And the way I heard it, I was thinking, yeah, I'll. That sounds.
You know what? Let's ask the audience. What do you guys think my next on-demand movie should be? Give me your suggestions. Should I watch Ready Player One next? That would be a nice movie to review. I also I don't care about spending the money. I'll probably review the Truth or Dare and the Winchester. I want to see Winchester also.
Yeah, me too.
So
Winchester, I'm sorry. That's the one about the house, right?
I think so. Yeah.
It just reminds every time. That just reminds me so much of the Rose Red thing. It just from beginning to end. When I caught that trailer, I thought, man, this reminds me of Rose Red.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I hate saying it. That's the only thing I think holding me back from seeing it is because it reminds me too much of that Stephen King storyline.
Huh. So there's something else we're going to talk about. Let's see. It's funny though. I was talking to Carter. Yes, we were out doing cast, and I was finishing watching Deadpool, so I'm like a few minutes. And then I set up the thing, and nobody came to the everything show. And I'm like,
Oh,
hey, I'm gonna do this shit myself.
like I said, I must have been coming back from the
Right.
getting myself water when I.
And you know what it is? Everybody I send the link to, half of them didn't see it because something's weird with Facebook lately.
Yeah.
And Vaughn reached me afterwards saying she's going to bed. But Connor I sent him the link, so I don't know if he's going to come in. We'll see. Because I do want to talk to him about the James Bond situation that happened today.
Speak of the devil, his ears must have been burning.
Just talking about, I wanted to really talk to you about the James Bond thing. We're in the Everything Show. Yeah. What's up, Connor?
Hello.
Yeah, no, I was just saying like how I really wanted to talk to you about, because I was, when I first heard that the director was, fired or whatever, or quit or whatever, he left. I was upset, but tell me why I shouldn't be upset.
At the moment, I can't really give you a reason.
Wasn't the reason you said that, what did you tell me? Something that they wanted Bond to die or what?
Oh, yeah. He came into the film with him and John Hodge with the big idea. The big idea was apparently Bond was going to die.
Well, then you're fired.
Yeah.
And
instant.
Yeah, and it would confirm a long standing theory that 007 is a code name, which would kill the franchise stone dead.
In other words, people would be other James Bond 007. Yeah. Like, in other words, it's not really a person. It's like a continuation.
Yeah, because then what you're doing is you're taking a character that you believe is the same person for so long and ripping it apart, ripping the rulebook apart.
And they said no.
Yeah, well, they said yes.
They said yes.
Yeah. I want to actually go through kind of like the whole process of like getting Danny Boyle on board.
Okay.
It's actually quite weird.
Okay.
Originally, it was going to be someone called Jan Dimanji. Never really heard of him before. He's a fairly low-key filmmaker. Christopher Nolan was the earliest name that was rumored, but that never came about. He was the front runner for so long, and then out of the blue, a rumor started that Danny Boyle, which in Britain is a pretty big name, Danny Boyle is on board to direct Bond 25. It took about a month and a half for it to be confirmed, probably even a little bit more. But the idea was that him and John Hodge, who is, you know, sometimes directors and screenwriters kind of like team up and do films together all the time. Like they won't work with other screenwriters. John Hodge is like that to Danny Boyle. So John Hodge and Danny Boyle went to Eon MGM and basically pitched an idea that they had that's going to make it different from any Bond film before. If the idea was given the green light by Barbara Broccoli and Michael J. Wilson, then Danny Boyle would direct Bond 25. So they obviously have had the meeting at some point, and it was obviously given the green light because Danny Boyle, who had never directed a blockbuster before of that magnitude, he never had that budget to work with before, he'd never had that time. He'd never had a studio like that to work with before. Obviously then came on to direct, and Daniel Craig was happy about it. You know, the broccoli. In fact, I think when Danny Boyle was initially announced, Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson said, like, this is fantastic. This is insane. He's an Oscar winner. We've like hit the jackpot.
Right.
And now, just as we hear that casting is underway for a villain and various other major roles, this happens. What I think has happened is he's come out. They like the idea, not necessarily the bit about Bond dying, but they like his idea because they're sticking with the script. So John Hodge is still the writer.
Okay.
That he's come up with this idea, but they're not going the way that they wanted to. Like, Danny Boyle is like doing it in a different tone, or he's it's a bit like, you know how when Solo was, when that director change happened,
Right.
the whole thing about Lord and Miller are making it.
They thought it was too comedy.
Yeah, it was too comedic. It's a bit
Right.
like that. But I think Danny Boyle left because he can't deal with that big a production just yet.
Right.
He's a very experienced director. He's very good, but
Right.
he's never done a film of that magnitude before, where he's had all that budget, all that time.
But you think that it will affect his career, though?
No, I doubt it. But
Oh.
it just goes to show really how, you know, how intimidating and how different it is to work for studios. It kind of like exposes the whole Hollywood system. Like, you know, studios can be incredibly difficult to work with.
Right.
They can really limit someone's creativity, because Danny
Yeah.
Boyle is very much an independent sort of filmmaker.
Well, let me ask you a question. Being that you think very highly of Danny Boyle, right?
Yeah.
You also, at the same time, are a huge James Bond fan.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, knowing that you like both, how could you be on board with him killing off one of your favorite characters?
Well, considering that it's a rumor that was, if that was what the main idea was, the big idea to get him the job, I don't know, honestly.
I mean, aren't you conflicted, though?
Yeah, I am a little bit. If that was the big idea, then yeah.
But you also said earlier in this cast that this could fundamentally destroy the Bond franchise by adding this element.
Yeah, I think.
But you wouldn't want that to be added in, then, right?
If it destroyed the franchise, I wouldn't.
So why would we even bother entertaining with, like, Get Out, then, this guy and whoever else we can't have that. No, I mean, the Bond, we talked about this the other night, and you and I had agreed, right, that we never had to worry, as far as I can remember, when a Bond movie came out, we felt, okay, the right people are doing the movies, it's going to be good. You know, like, it was just a thing, like, you accepted it, right?
Yeah.
But if something is going to come controversial that could destroy the entire franchise forever, where it can never be repaired, I wouldn't even want to see that. I don't care who the director is, right?
Could this have been a backdoor attempt to get a woman in it, since there was also rumors that they wanted to turn a Bond into a woman?
I mean, you know what? Let me use an analogy, right? Growing up, seeing the original Star Wars movies, and every movie in the theater, right? With the exception of Solo, by the way. The moment I saw Last Jedi, I felt that was the kicker that could destroy the entire Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
That could be the start of the domino effect that could very well end the franchise. Because that's how strongly I felt that I hated that movie so much, right? Why would we want to have Bond infected with that? Like, just something that, if it's something that risky, where the payoff would be, it would be a great movie, and the downside would be destroying the entire franchise. Would we want to just take the risk and them not destroy the franchise, like just not do it at all?
Yeah, I guess in some ways, yeah. It wouldn't be worth the risk. But at the same time, I think...
See, I like risks, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm willing for them to take risks with different things.
I actually think that killing Bond off now wouldn't be so bad because we've had 25 films of how we know Bond to be.
But it would ruin it because, like, he never died in a movie.
Yeah.
And now when you do a movie, it's like, all right, you're doing a... See, the whole thing is that you can always say that all these movies are part of, you know, but now you would have to omit that movie forever because you can't have it that Bond dies ever.
I mean, killing Bond off would allow for a sort of reboot and a new direction, which is, after 25 films, it's risky, but it might pay off because it's a bit like...
But you don't need to kill the character to reboot.
It's a somewhat of a loose reboot.
See, that's like, it's a comic book mentality. Like, you don't need to kill the character to reinvigorate the character. You could just get another, like, seeing him live, and then you just get another Bond for another movie and just whatever. But you don't see, that's the whole thing I would have a problem with. Even if I had my own characters on the screen, I would not want my characters, unless I had a plan already, for them to die, period. Not for, like, shock value, not for shock endings.
Shock value and...
Not to make a buck. Like, no. I just would be stubborn and not have it that way.
Or the backdoor attempt of getting a woman to play Bond.
That's what, yeah, I think Scott's kind of right there. Because, you know, James Bond doesn't work like Doctor Who, where we have a regeneration. Like, if you killed off the character and then defined that 007 is the code name, and it's not a person, it's just a job title, basically. Mm-hmm. You can then get a woman in on it, or you could establish Bond as a younger kind of like action. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to throw out an actor for example. Maybe I think he's a bit too old, but maybe like Tom Hardy, but like from Get Out, Daniel Kaluuya. He's black, but he's young. So if you have it like a young James Bond sort of thing, where you're getting 20-something, 30-something year olds in, rather than, you know, people that of Connery or Moore or Dalton's age, then you're appealing to a different, probably more wider audience.
See, the thing I feel is that James, to me, and I could be wrong if I'm not thinking about other franchises, the last possible movie that's left that they didn't screw up is James Bond. The last franchise. I feel like they have screwed with every franchise there is. And they have ruined just about every franchise there is somehow with something. Mm-hmm. And James Bond franchise is the last one left that they didn't screw up. And for me, I'm going to plant my feet down and be really effing stubborn and say, effing no, you're not going to ruin this franchise. And I don't give a shit if it means we don't see James Bond for like 4 years or 5 years. I don't want this to be the last franchise that's left that they're going to screw up. I don't want to see a female Bond. I don't care. I don't want to see them kill off Bond. I don't want to see them change Bond where he's just a number and some schmo, just anybody can be Bond.
That's right.
There's like tryouts. No, this isn't, I don't care what the damn PC culture is, social justice warrior culture is. I don't care if it's the effing mentality about like, oh, anybody could be Bond and so could you. No. It's the same guy. They just rebooted whatever. I cannot have that.
Because if they go that route, because if they honestly go that route, then that means an American be Bond. And as far as I remember, between Doctor Who and James Bond, a British actor has to be Bond every time.
They have screwed up The Prisoner. They have screwed up just about every franchise there is, not just British, but everything. And I mean, literally, we've had Jaws get messed up. We've had, Psycho, Bates Motel, Star Wars, Star Trek, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, everything has gotten screwed up. Alien, Predator, and I'm not just Terminator, I could think of every damn franchise, Battlestar Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has gotten screwed up, but fucking James Bond right now.
Yeah.
That's the last fucking thing, man. And you fuck that up, and it's everything. That's it. That's it. Unless I'm missing a franchise for some odd reason that they haven't fucked up. But to me, just even Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, that fucked it up. Friday the 13th. I'm not just trying to stick with horror. God, give me something. Fucking Indiana Jones. They fucked that one up with the last one. There's always something from some franchise, Beverly Hills Cop 3, that they screwed up. Fast and the Furious, they screwed up that time.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 3? Was it 3, I think, or whatever it was? No, man. Never ending story. I mean, there was a lot of different things. There's always been something that Bond was the only thing. Even if you didn't like a Bond, you still loved the movie. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was fucking good shit. But now you're talking about screwing with the last possible. And again, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But this is it. And there's got to be some type of thing that you just cannot. I don't care if you create effing laws.
Keep your hands off.
Leave James Bond alone. Please. But they won't. And that's what fucking sucks. Is that I know it's going to happen. It's inevitable. But I just don't want to see it happen. But it's going to happen because people are fucking ballsy. And already they entertained the fact of killing him off or making it he's just a fucking number. And they don't fucking get it. And it's going to happen. I hope it's not in my lifetime, but it's going to fucking happen, unfortunately. Because there's somebody screws up somewhere. It's never going to be.
Somebody's going to eventually bow down and go, we need to change. We need to do a total reboot, and we'll off him this way. And that way we can bring this person in who's a younger character that will bring the 18 to 20 years old.
You've had Doctor Who for 55 fucking years, okay? Who the fuck had 25 fucking movies other than James Bond? Mm-hmm. Fucking nobody, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck if not even Star Wars has that many amount of movies, okay? This is it. This is the last fucking thing. And I won't risk it. I won't risk it. I'm going to be a stubborn bastard. I don't give a fuck. No, leave it alone. You know, if they have to shelve it, then you fucking, look, I want Daniel Craig.
There has been suggestions that what they should do is shelve the last of Craig's ones and then just go straight into a new guy.
You know what?
In which case, then they would have reason to get Christopher Nolan to do it.
Here's my take, right? We got him. It took fucking forever to sign the effing contract. We fucking got Daniel Craig. Why can't they just put out a fucking movie? Why does it have to be the most shocking, greatest fucking thing that's never been done? They did that shit with Doctor Who after a while, and it got boring because every time someone's destroying the universe. Instead of it being destroying a block or destroying a fucking town or a city, now you got a threat that will destroy the entire fucking universe every other week. And it got boring. So stop and just do a fucking movie. Like, get him in there, get something, but it doesn't have to be he dies.
I think it's a case of, you know that saying that an actor should never be bigger than the role that they're playing? It's kind of like the actor's got bigger than the role. Like
what, Daniel Craig is bigger than Bond?
Yeah, like Daniel Craig has suddenly become the people's Bond. Like, but, Bond, they're like, no Daniel Craig, no Bond.
Listen, no, because look, Sean Connery were the people Bond then. Yeah. Roger Moore. It's somebody else will come along that would be likable, and you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. But I think that Daniel
maybe
Craig,
not right away, but
yeah, I think that there's a worry that they can't replace Daniel Craig.
They can. They just
because
fucking ridiculous.
Because he's that good.
Listen, they're saying that because nobody in fucking history ever made the amount of money that Daniel Craig did as fucking Bond in the movies. The movies, fucking Skyfall fucking killed every Bond movie there is, box office wise. So right there and then they're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? But they can't think like that, because when you start fucking thinking about that, you don't think about story, you're thinking about dollar signs. You're sitting in a boardroom and they're like, we need to have the next Bond make $1.4 billion. And that's when shit goes wrong, because it's the fucking greed then. It's not about the integrity of the character. It's not about the story. It's not, they don't give a shit. They want a Bond that makes a movie that makes $1.4 billion, $1.5 billion, $1.6 billion. And that's when you
they start going, that's when they start, like I said, they start screwing up. What they should be focusing on, yes, is make a Bond movie.
You make fucking Avengers.
I always said when it comes to making a movie, the makers of a movie should just go in there making a good movie. That's all they're responsible for. Yes, if you want to make a sequel that's better than the last, do it. But in the long run, a filmmaker's only job is to make a good movie. Allow the audience to make it a great one. And the problem is so many of these people who want to make films go, oh, I'm going to make this epic, incredible thing. And they throw everything at it. And the only problem is they shit the bed.
Listen, you made the Avengers movie, which is my favorite, one of my favorite movies, right?
You make a good.
But then they tried to make Age of Ultron a bigger threat than fucking Thanos' people, which no fucking way. So, and it fucking didn't, right? It fucking collapsed and it didn't make as much. And then Disney's like, it's a failure. You can't call something a failure that makes $1 billion fucking $300 million. It's ridiculous. But in their eyes, they're like, shareholders, this is where you have to understand, okay? And this is where they got to get this shit out of their fucking head, okay? It cost you $200 million to make a movie, and you make $1 billion. Shut the fuck up. If it cost you $300 million and you make $1.1 billion, shut the fuck up. If it costs you $500 million and you make $1.5 billion, whatever, shut the fuck up and stop it with the shit about it's a failure because it didn't make more than that. There's gonna be a time when you do a fucking bomb, okay, like Solo, where you fuck up and you throw so much shit into it and it doesn't make its fucking returns, okay? Then you fucking panic. But the movie could be worse where you don't make that much of a profit. These fucking movies, okay, are making so much fucking money. It's unheard of, okay? And they're fucking not satisfied. We had movie companies that, like Disney, that demanded an asking price from the theater percentage. And it pissed off tons of theaters with The Last Jedi. And then it turns out they pissed them off so much that the theater said, well, fuck you next time around. So now I don't want the people that put the James Bond movies to start fucking acting like, okay, people, we need to make more money than Skyfall because Spectre didn't do it. So I want to see $1.5 billion. Let's make it happen. What can we do? Let's kill Bond and let's have his head chopped off and let's have this because that's going to make us more. That's going to be a wow factor. You can't fucking do a Bond movie like that. And it's never going to be the same now because they're fucking thinking that way. They got to get that shit cleansed from their head. Forget about the shareholders and the boardrooms and the business and the money. Do a fucking Bond film and stop the bullshit. You don't need to woo us with shit like that. And that is going to be their downfall. Just like Disney is going to fuck up like they fucked up Disney. Disney fucked up fucking Star Wars. They're going to fuck up something with the superheroes because they're not going to fucking get it. Okay? And they're going to go fucking too far. And Bond is right there. This is what they're talking about. Why can't we make Skyfall? And they need to get the fuck out of their head. No, Connor, I'm being honest. I mean, it shouldn't be that they're and you know what happens when you try too hard?
You fuck up.
Next Generation was desperate. Because back then, like Star Trek Next Generation, right?
Yeah.
It was always passing the torch. They started that phrase, passing the torch, right? The next generation, you pass the torch. Like, it basically came from the Olympics, passing the torch, right? So, like, you pass it off to the next generation, passing the torch, right? Next Generation, Star Trek Next Generation was so successful. It was more successful than ever on TV, right? When it came to the movies, the one thing they had in their head is, we need to be the Wrath of Khan. We need to have a Star Trek movie that will be the most popular movie ever. And then they made the movie with Tom Hardy. And they said, before the movie came out, this movie is our Wrath of Khan, and this movie is better than Wrath of Khan. And when we went to see the movie, right away fans were pissed off because of how dare you, sacrilege. And the movie was definitely not the Wrath of Khan. It wasn't even Search for Spock. And it wasn't even fucking A Voyage Home. It was a little better than Star Trek V, but give me a fucking break. Okay, so you pissed off the fans. It was crap. The script was so fucking bad. Okay? And they tried too hard. They tried too hard. And now forever, The Next Generation is known as a shitty last sequel. Forever. It ended The Next Generation, which I'm glad now they're bringing Picard back. Hopefully they can fix some shit. But they gotta get that out of their head as the business savvy thing. Just make movies and do Bond the way it has to be done and not any other way. And I think you'll be okay if you do it that way. But that's not gonna happen, unfortunately.
Because they're looking at
it's this, man. It's it's Connor, right?
Yeah.
This is what they want. And look at Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
How many fucking shows said we're gonna do Game of Thrones in fucking space? We're gonna do Game of Thrones in sports. They're trying to make it that.
Yeah, it's all about like you have. Yeah, exactly. It's always about we have to be like Game of Thrones,
And they can never duplicate it.
And you can never duplicate it. It's not possible. The best storytelling is, like, for an example, I'm going to use a recent show that I saw that is proved very popular, Killing Eve. The reason why that was so good is because it was a new sort of idea. It wasn't necessarily new, but it wasn't trying to be bigger than it was. It was well written because it wasn't trying to. It was fancy and it was really good. It had a really big budget, but it wasn't trying to be like Game of Thrones. It wasn't trying. It was just like a Sunday night drama, very stylized, that just was successful. And I think that like trying to be too much like Game of Thrones, putting out all these fantasy series, you're crushing yourself under your own weight. Yeah. Like hyping it up like that. Why does everything have to be like Game of Thrones?
Because it's the flavor of the month.
Well, look at Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Stranger Things starts doing the fucking retro shit from the 80s. Now every motherfucker wants to have an 80s fucking thing.
And when Deadpool was successful as an R-rated movie, what did they start? DC started doing. We need to have an R-rated movie too, and all these.
Well, what was the original point of Venom? Venom is like, oh well, Deadpool did it. We're gonna do an R-rated too. But what did they do? They became a bunch of pussies, and they fucking backed up, and now we got a Venom PG-13, which is not gonna fucking work.
Bring in more audience.
It's so fucking stupid, though. Like, how fucking stupid are you, Sony?
Because if they can cut down the blood, that's why they were able to
dumb. Venom's eating somebody's fucking head off. Are you kidding me? How are you going to make that a fucking, like, nice for people to see?
The blood.
Give me a break. It's ridiculous.
You were talking about Game of Thrones, but in fact, that even stands within their own production, because what did they do as soon as like the last series was about to roll about? They commissioned 5 spin-offs,
which is absolutely fucking absurd, by the way.
And they're only doing 1, and they've scrapped the other 4, as far as I know. But they commissioned 5. The 5 spin-offs with only the possibility of 1 probably happening. Who does that? That no other TV series. You never got that reception for Lost, or you never got that reception for Mad Men.
Lost. That was good lord.
Game of Thrones were gonna get a shit ton of spin-offs because they want to keep that spirit of Game of Thrones alive.
It's done. The moment it ends, it's done. People are gonna listen. People had invested years with those characters. Nobody, I can't say nobody, but mostly people don't want to invest now. You can't go backwards. When they did that with
people don't want to see,
because when you go backwards, no matter what you fucking do, it's the past. You can't fucking make it more exciting, you know? So just like they did Enterprise, they tried to do fucking shitty technology and everything.
Yep.
Who the fuck wants to see that? I'm seeing fucking people beaming around and shit. I'm seeing fucking all the technology. Now you got a fucking grappling hook. And I looked at it, are you out of your fucking mind when they put that show out? And then the show was going to fail, so they started doing time travel shit because that had to do with future technology. And they started doing mirror shit. They tried to do everything they can to keep a show alive that had inferior technology. And it never fucking worked because you shouldn't have fucking done a show like that in the first place. Game of Thrones, it's fucking pointless to do a prequel series. Fucking pointless.
And even then, with the prequel series, the Jane Goldman prequel series that they commissioned, that's ready for pilot. If you read what it's about, it's just Game of Thrones. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's more focused on the Starks, but it's still the whole idea of it's the evolution and stuff of the White Walkers. It's all about the White Walkers.
Woohoo!
See, now what they're trying to do, you know, Sopranos? Sopranos, James Gandolfini dies, right?
Yeah.
They wanted the movies, they wanted this. Now they have the fucking balls that they're trying to put a prequel fucking movie out. Because their whole fucking idea is that with the prequel movie, they're gonna fucking reboot The Sopranos with new fucking actors, and they're gonna try to bring the shit back, and you're gonna fuck the whole thing up because they don't
put the prequel. Just put the
no Sopranos. Period. You can't do it anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
Do something fucking different. But they don't get it. They don't fucking get it.
One thing with the Game of Thrones thing that everyone, not just me, and I'm one of them, everyone wanted them to do was to go for a Targaryen prequel series where it was focused on that whole conquest that we've heard so much about. You know, where there's like 500 dragons in the series. It's ridiculous. It's like fucking mind-blowing scope. But instead, they've played it safe and they've gone with a carbon copy of Game of Thrones written by a different writer with probably a few minor little twists that are different from Game of Thrones, but all the same, it's still a carbon copy of the storyline that we've lived with for what will be going on 8 seasons now. They even decided not to take a risk. They could have gone for that Targaryen prequel series and had something that would probably be even better than Game of Thrones, but they've just, because they're not sure, but they still want to keep the spirit of Game of Thrones alive, they played it too fucking safe, and they've gone for something that we're all just
they played fucking Walking Dead so fucking safe for so long that you never want to fucking kill anybody off anymore. And then they fuck up and they kill the wrong fucking characters off, like fucking Carl. Maybe they'll kill Rick, and now the fucking show is just about done, okay? Like, you're done. You end it. It's over. You end it. Even the comics dying right now, you end it and do something else because you can't fucking save it. You can't salvage it. It's fucking over. Fear the Walking Dead, it's fucking over. It's over. I'm telling you, it's over. It's over. Something else. Do something else.
And in fact, in recent weeks, it came out that they were so desperate to keep the Game of Thrones spirit alive that not only was the 5 spin-offs commissioned, but George R.R. Martin had actually pitched 3 more to HBO on top of that. So that's 8 ideas that they had to play with. And they went for the safest one that would probably be the one that people would just get bored of quicker because we've already had it for 8 seasons.
It's not going to do well. People are going to be like, I don't know why it's happening. It's not going to do well.
I mean, I'm so happy that like we're going to see Targaryens and Starks on TV again. And it's not going to be the same because it's not Kit Harington, it's not Emilia Clarke, it's not Lena Headey, it's not all of the main characters that we've grown to love in the main show. But it's still them families and stuff. It's still that same sort of Game of Thrones universe. And I'm glad about that. I want more of that, but I just don't like the way that they're going about it.
How much time we got left?
About a minute.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. That's going to be it for this edition of the Everything Show. Take care. Bye for now.